All right, so today we are going to move on to the next section, which is writing linear equations. Um, your assignment is going to be, first of all, a 3-9 worksheet. And again, just a reminder how I want this to go. You should have notes in front of you. Watch this video. When you get done with this video, show your notes to the sub, and then the sub will hand you today's assignment. And this will be due on Thursday. Okay. Now, what we're looking to do, like I said, we're trying to write linear equations. And now we've talked a little bit about these earlier in the chapter when we've gone through to graph. Okay. And just a reminder about some linear equations. The biggest one, let's talk about slope-intercept form. That's what we're going to be looking to write our equations in today. And that's just going to be y is equal to mx plus b. If you remember, the m is going to stand for what our slope is, and then our b is going to be the y-intercept. Okay, now again, like I said, we want to get all of our answers into that format. Some it's going to be pretty easy for us to do because we're given the slope and the y-intercept right away. Other times we're given either just 2 points to try to figure out what the equation is going to be, or we're given the slope and a non-y-intercept point. Okay, if that's the case, if we get either one of those, then we're going to use what is called point-slope form. Okay, now this one we haven't seen as much here recently, but what it's going to look like is this. It's going to be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay? Now, a couple things about it. Again, the m still is going to stand for our slope. So we're going to put that, whatever that number might be, right in front of our parentheses. Okay, and then we're going to have some point, which is going to be that x1, y1. Okay, now what we will use that for is to try to generate the slope intercept. So basically, we're going to try to go from here to here. Okay, and we'll look at an example where we're going through that and talk about kind of the steps that we need to take to process this. Okay? So we're going to look at 3 different types of examples. Okay, and your assignment is really broken up into 3 sections, really 6 questions of each type like this. Okay, so we want to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form that's based on the given information. Now, for this, first of all, I should say, slope-intercept form, and again, I know we just talked about it, but that's going to be y equals mx plus b. Okay, now for this first one, okay, we are told that the slope is negative 1/5 and our y-intercept is 6. Now, just a reminder then, the slope, like I said, is m. The y-intercept is b. So for this particular one, it's just a matter of us going through and plugging those values in. So what it'll still be y equals, be negative 1/5 x, and then plus b. Okay, and I know that that's a little bit harder to read, so I'll try to rewrite it. But that is a 5 that's on the bottom. Okay, because it's just, again, a matter of us plugging those 2 values in. So if you see the slope and you see that we have the y-intercept, that is going to be the easiest one that we could have. Okay, and then they'll just get a little bit tougher as we go through. For our next one, we've got, it goes through negative 6/4 with a slope of 2/3. Now, on this, you can see we have a point and we have a slope, which means that we're going to be using point-slope form. We still want to try to get to this format right here. We're still trying to make sure that it's in y equals mx plus b. Now, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and identify, here's x1, here's y1, and then this is going to be the slope. Okay, so what I'm going to do for these ones is I'm going to use that point-slope form. And I know you already have it on there. I'm just going to rewrite it so we have it right here. Okay, so what this will look like is going to be y minus y1, which is 4, is equal to m, which is 2/3, times x minus negative 6, which is our x1. Now, we can approach this a couple different ways here. First of all, minus and negative, I'm going to go ahead and change that to plus or positive, so we're not dealing with double negatives there. On the left side, I'm actually going to go ahead and leave that alone. I'm just going to leave it as y minus 4. On the right side, I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 2/3 through. Okay, so we can go ahead and we'll distribute our slope through. And now what that'll give us is 2/3 x here. Okay, now for the 6, essentially what it'll be, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so that's going to be a plus 4. Now, again, we're trying to get it into slope-intercept form. Well, that means that we just need to do one more thing. Okay, we're going to look to add the 4. Okay, so it's going to be y equals, again, then we got 2/3 x, and it'll be now plus 8 because we had 4 plus 4. Okay, so that's our answer on that. And now, the third one is going to be a little bit tougher, okay, because on this one, we have 2 points. We go through 1, 2, and 0, 5. And if you were given an example where it's just the 2 points and nothing else, the very first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the slope. Okay, so I'll draw a line here. Okay, now just a reminder, slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I'll go ahead, I'll identify. Here's x1, here's y1, here's x2, here's y2. So what we're looking at slope-wise is going to be something like this. It'll be 5 minus 2 over 0 minus 1. Okay, so we get 3 over negative 1. So it looks like our slope is going to be a negative 3. Now, from here, okay, you get to pick. You can pick either one of these 2 points to use as far as the point-slope form goes. I would try to avoid negatives, which you can see neither one of these points have a negative, and I would try to maybe pick the smaller of the number so it's less to multiply. Also on this, 0 is always a good option, so let's just maybe use this one right here. Okay? Now, what that'll give me then, it'll be y, in this case minus 5, is equal to negative 3 times, it'll be x minus 0. Okay? Now, we don't have any minus and negative, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll leave this side alone again, so it'd be just y minus 5, and we'll distribute that negative 3. Negative 3 times x, we'll get negative 3x. Negative 3 times 0 is just 0, so we'll have nothing there. Okay, then we'll solve this for y. We'll add our 5, so I get y equals negative 3x plus 5. Okay, and there's our slope-intercept form. Now, if you wanted to, okay, you could have used the other point as well, and I'll do that here in black. It would have given you the same answer. I got y minus 2. It would have been equal to negative 3 times x minus 1. Okay, now on this, again, we would have left that y minus 2. Here we would have distributed. So it'd be negative 3x plus 3. I'll just add my 2. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter which of the 2 points you look to use. You're going to get the same answer regardless. Okay, so again, your assignment is going to be 3 sections, 6 questions of each kind. Okay, there's some where it's pretty straightforward. You have the slope, the y-intercept, just plugging those in. So it's y equals mx plus b with the slope and the y-intercept. The second type that you'll see, you're going to have a point and the slope. Okay, you're going to have to use this point-slope form to convert it into our y equals mx plus b. So distribute the slope, okay, and take your y value to the other side. Okay, if you're given just the 2 points, make sure we find the slope first. Okay, that should be step 1, and then pick either one of the 2 points. You can see that you're going to get the same answer regardless. I would try to avoid negatives, try to pick smaller numbers, and again, if you see a 0, that's going to be nice because that's less work for us to do. Okay, so finish these up, show them to the sub, and then get your assignment for tomorrow.